G'day friends, fans and other cool units. Welcome to Dave Talk Stuff, Ukraine War Update for the 10th of July 2025. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, author of the books The Boyhood of Cade, Bell Games, Into the Elsbound, and The Erotic Tales from the Empire. Thank you to all those who support the channel. First drafts are on my writing Patreon. Thank you to all the patrons who support the channel. Buy my books, buy my merch. All my links are in the link tree. You can scan the QR code on the screen right now for all my links. Alrighty then. We have the news, and most of the news is crap, but over 700 drones attacked Ukraine, and of course Ukraine says we shot them all down, comrades, and the Chuds believe it because the Chuds believe the party is always right. The top European court has said Russia broke international law in Ukraine, and we'll have a look at that. Got nothing to do with the photo on display, because remember, brought to you by the lady on the street corner. This is a recruitment centre. Nothing to do with her. She's just standing there to add drama. Because women will sit and go, shit, that's her house. Because no matter what you say, fools, you can discredit a genius with one fact, but you can never discredit a fool, even if you give them 40 facts. Now, it's about the Malaysian Airlines, which was allegedly shot down by Russia, because they haven't proved it. Decisions were symbolic. It was an accusation by Ukraine, despite the fact all the evidence comes from Ukraine, who has absolutely no reason to lie, comrades. Why was it flying over a war zone despite the notices? $10,000 individual cases. Russia just says, fuck you, it's all political. But of course, this is all payback by political animals who just want to prove that they can anybody, because so many people will always believe the party is always right, comrades. Peace through strength, comrades. Operation Spiderweb was all Ukrainians' idea, we swear. Had nothing to do with the CIA or NSA, the National Surveillance Office, or the National Reconnaissance Office, or the Military Intelligence Office, or any of those Washington think tanks and those American satellites. No, it was pissy little Ukraine, who doesn't even have one satellite. The one they had came from Russia. Alright, so key events. There was a massive air assault, mostly by drones. Lots of fighting, however. And of course, as Ukraine says, they only hit administration buildings. And, yeah, but for what? Military intelligence? Secret police? They don't exist. They're only civilian targets or civilian infrastructure. They only hit kids, everybody. So, weapons continue. Trump is also considering sending Patriots. Diplomatically, there has been some changes, but mostly rearranging the deck chairs. Chinese have been caught spying and passing on information to Russia. Russia has accused Ukraine of using anti-personnel mines. So Ukraine withdrew from the Ottawa Convention. But of course, economically, Ukraine is a basket case. And Russian authorities have confiscated $50 billion from assets, justify saying illegal actions by the West have basically underscored a shift towards fortress Russia. Now, Italy is now trying to come to the rescue of Ukraine, but of course their economy is going into the toilet. But everybody is just trying to virtue signal and really needs to kick Zelensky to the curb. Alright, so the map doesn't reflect everything, of course, but you can see there was a lot of activity in Kiev. Action on the front, some expansion of the buffer zone, further movement on this road. Not much else happening in the other, but there are new buffer zone activities. This is expanded. There are new activities on the front. Not much is happening at Kupiansk. Oligarsk. So we go to Donetsk, which again, there's action, but there's no real movement until we get to Battle Group Centaur or Tensor. I think it's alright. So we have action and we have offense. We have an operation that occurred up here, combined with drones, a raid, and some air attacks. We have a raid on the village here. We have artillery along the front here. We have movement and attacks on with Russians taking up positions on the edge of this town right here. More movement in Pavlovsk as they move along the front, as they move the front line across, closing the cauldron, moving up on here. So basically they can hammer this into oblivion. A little bit of a stall here. They should be up here by now. They should have been up here by now. They should be pushing through. But it's got game of numbers, and most of the numbers are probably in this hub here right now because they're engaging the Zelensky line and flanking it at the same time. Two-pronged attack. And as you can see, they're squeezing this out, keeping the Ukrainians entertained down here. And we'll see whether or not they cut through here or not soon. Same here. They cut down through here to cut this off. And then push up through here. Again, the possibility is they want to keep this road here open while they push up here to basically create a north and western retreat along the two major roads here, one up here, as they barrel down on this. But again, I think the better strategy would have been to cut them off and force them all north. But yeah, dividing the forces. But I mean, Ukraine is going to defy any and all pushes. Cursed Bridge still stands, by the way. Zelensky can cry in his sour milk. Alright, so the Ukrainian attack on Russia has left some civilian deaths, according to Russian media. There was a shelling on a border town. Apparently Trump has only approved some military supplies. This was in consultation with Pete Hegseth. And we move on. There's a terror plot, which the Ukrainian operative was confronted with a petrol bomb disguised in a battery pack and a petrol jerry can. The plot was to basically take the supports out on a road, a bridge over rail lines. The suspect was confronted, rail line over road, the suspect was confronted by the FSB while planning the IED, and he was killed in the process. Now, foreign spies have been taking photos of bridges and rail lines in Russia, and of course Russia has been working around the clock, and Ukraine says, haha, you're too big to protect yourself, and Lavrov is saying, 700 drones prove that you can't even protect a warm cup of piss. So anyway, Lavrov and Rubio have met in a part of the Asian meeting. They met first in Riyadh, and since then they've had a number of talks. This is the talks that we were waiting on confirmation, and well, apparently they left aside. Apparently they had a little side meeting in Malaysia to set some agenda for how this is going to be resolved, where it's going. Now, I found some footage of the attack on Ukraine. A lot of it looks familiar. I think it's from the same set of reporters holed up in one. They've got a view of downtown. There's the main street of the Ukrainian administration. You've got the rails. A lot of the important stuff is out of sight from this hotel, but you can see in the distance explosions. You can see clouds rising already from smoke. Air defences going off. Now, what you don't see, most of the time, there is no air defence. But we don't see the drones either. So the drones are coming in and the missiles are dropping. We don't see any streak from the missiles, but now and again you see a streak up here. So obviously, these are guide bombs. They're falling from the sky to their target. They're not coming in hot. They're gliding to their final destination. These are air defense. Obviously, yeah, it's missing. It's not hitting targets. Now, we don't know what these various buildings are, but there we have. Attempts to light up the sky. Now we have some air defense, but at least it hit. Well, we do know they have shot down something, but most of the time they are hitting nothing. Their air defences are taking out some drones. Missiles. I don't think they're drones, although they could be drones. But I thought Russian drones weren't rocket powered. So they were probably launching missiles. There's air defences hitting drones. Some are getting hit. But as you can see, the drones barely visible against the sky. Pretty clumped up. This is obviously a swarm attack, and you can see the results. Hitting vehicles. Don't know what it's hit. Why it's hit that position. But you can see from the intensity of the explosion, something additionally was hit. Again, no close-up of what was hit. But here we have some results. Obviously, you can see these buildings empty. again, look how empty most of this is. We have some people, bro, just another day in paradise, bro. Probably a nightclub or meeting spot. Something behind the facade there in the building. You can see the how many buildings have infrared blankets on the windows? Yeah, to hide servers. You know that, right? Again, was that downed? Or why did it hit? So again, you never know what was hit or why. And Ukraine will tell us it's so we don't help the enemy. As if Russia doesn't have surveillance. As if Russia didn't I mean, it could have once been an internet cafe. Who knows? But obviously there were some awnings on the inside over the windows. Most of the area was empty. Most of the offices below it were empty. Yet there was something upstairs burning brightly and fiercely, unlike the rest of the building. So there was something on the roof or in the top floor, hidden behind awnings or what looks to be infrared blankets. They look like fly blankets. They are grey on one side and white on the other. You put the white side in and they reflect heat in, and the outside cools rapidly to mask the heat on the inside. And now we have fresh drone activity. We have air defences reporting Russian drones and explosions in Zaporizhia. So yes, this is a live map, live war, and more activity on the border, with more to come throughout the day. Clearly, Russia in command, Russia ignoring the calls from Zelensky for do something. Again, Zelensky asks you to send your money, send your children, so that he can stay in office. It's like a Middle East war. Let them fight. So, F Zelensky and F his supporters. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. And please support the channel. You can check out all the links in the description below. You can support me on Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. All my links are in the link tree, description below, in my profile, or scan the QR code on the screen. Please and thank you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.